49 of those 100 rounds going to the CT side, and then 51 of those 100 rounds going to the T side. So threshold should be 7-8, just barely in favor of MVP Karnal. But I'm struggling for words for the next topic that I was going to bring up. Oh, right. If you guys enter the giveaway for our M4 Battlestar skin, then it's field tested, by the way. You guys can subscribe to our YouTube channel via the giveaway, and then what that will do for you guys is, if you happen to miss any of the matches and you want to watch the VODs, we will export them from Twitch straight to our YouTube channel, and you guys can watch there. You know, not an absolutely end-all, be-all kind of thing or something necessary, but right now, I mean, with Zusi and Ricky getting one-taps, this is looking like a round that's going to be very hard for MVP Karnal to take, and that's going to be Imagine getting the third one-tap. Ricky opens up with a ton of body shots, and none of the CTs actually fall, and what's even worse here is we could actually see Imagine, as well as, I think that was James or Zusi, one of those two. They could actually just spend money on, they could actually just spend $350 more and get helmets. The rest of the team would have to spend, I think, $1,000, depending on how much Kevlar damage they had taken. Mic problem coming in, so a pause was called. And with that being said, again, just a good time to go ahead and plug in the giveaway that we have. Battlestar skin, it is field tested because I have the factory new one and I decided to keep it for myself. And truth be told, I actually got the field tested one after I got the factory new one, so it wasn't just like, you know, spur of the moment choose or whatever. And I had long in advance already renamed the factory new one to something else. But sells for about $11 on the Steam Marketplace, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, wouldn't it be worth saving you guys maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes of your time going to the Steam Marketplace and instead maybe go to I'm struggling for words right now. Maybe just go through the giveaway, and if you don't win the giveaway, then, you know, kind of big whoop. Only 5 minutes of your time. On the other hand, if you do, well, it's $11 you don't have to spend on a new M4 skin. Okay. Looks like maybe the players could see each other on each sides of the booth or whatever. I'm not entirely sure about the production value of WCA on site for both of these teams. So with that being said, it could actually be the case. You know, in Malaysia, learning Mandarin is actually quite popular. Ooh, that is quite the flick that Kaze just took. Learning Mandarin is actually quite popular. It's perhaps the third most spoken language in Malaysia. But that's Ricky finishing things up with a fragmentation grenade. Nicely done. And that is going to be 2 frags the name of Imagine. Ricky switches to the P250. He's going to have to backpedal if he wants to stay alive there. He's in very mortal danger. But James 94 coming in with the flank with that TMP. So too is Offnu. Looks like James will be denied, while Zusi gets one to his name. Such a sellout. Yeah, but I mean, this is all we have to offer for the time being. I mean, I wish we could give away something like a factory new bayonet slaughter, but you know, we don't have that option, or a factory new M9 bayonet Doppler. Knife skins are the most expensive, really. And that's gonna be 1 for 1. Imagine trades himself, and the UMP falls in the hands of the T's, but whew, Offnu goes in, gets himself a triple kill, earns himself $1,800. I think in all these 3 rounds, look at the frags. Yeah, you can see Zever, he's the only one to actually make a frag in the past 3 rounds, so that has been phenomenally profitable. Like, no. How do I say this? Like, the amount of return that Immunity's gotten since the pistol round is just absolutely amazing. Kaze, however, does shut this down a little bit, gets the AWP in his hands, and says, hey, stop. Four versus 5. CTs are going to be, for the time being, taking it to a 2-2 split, as MVP Karnal is yet to make a commitment, but this is most typically when you can see, I wouldn't say this is when teams get overzealous or they get arrogant or they make a mistake or something, but definitely in just ordinary matchmaking, it most certainly is the case. He's waiting for them to overextend, and that's exactly what the CTs are doing right now, but there they go. They pull back smartly. They heard the sound of that flashbang, and they're just like, no. We don't want to get blinded. We don't want to get pop shotted or whatever have you in between. We're just going to back out. M9 Doppler or Rito. I love that. But Rito doesn't sell skins, Kappa. At least not for CSGO. Spray coming in here, and his Zatzer is going to bring it to 5-3. Sever and ACAP. Well, I mean, ACAP just, he happened to be in the right place, right time, catching the rotation, and this is almost a complete reversal of the situation that we saw Immunity on in the pistol round. Now Ricky is struggling to hold on to that AWP. If he was, you know, like, if he was thinking like 007 or James Bond or whatever have you, he could probably get away with that kind of ghost diffuse, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Uh-oh. Sees the flash, turns away, goes through the smoke, but, I mean, yeah, some James Bond 2.0 stuff there, but Amon kind of shuts it down by coming towards T-spawn. Could have potentially gotten away with James Bond 3.0 stuff if he was maybe a little bit sneaky enough, because that bomb was completely abandoned by MVP Karnal. Big B rush coming in. MVP Karnal's not going to waste any time getting on the site, but it's going to be Ricky getting the opening frag. He is not going to get a second, however. Zever is going to instead make a double kill at bomb site B. The question is, do Immunity play for the retake, or are they going to play to save their weapons? Stacked smokes now going on to the B double doors. Four versus 3. T's don't want to push out, and it looks like the CTs are aiming to save their weapons as well. You add 1900 to everything that's here, and it's just it's not looking pretty for, you know, Team Immunity, but they do manage to make it a bit pricey for MVP Karnal. You know, MVP Karnal's just giving, you know, tips for the waiters right now, because Immunity just served ACAP and Zever on the exit, or rather Zever on the exit, ACAP at the beginning of the round. So what now is a very good question to ask. WCA has enough for a FAMAS. Ricky, $50 short of buying a FAMAS. It's not going to be any buys. At least not in the way of armor and rifles and such. It's just going to be a couple utilities coming in from the CT side and an upgraded pistol. Double CT stack now onto bomb site B, but I'd say this is looking a little bit converse to what we would see most typically in G2 versus LG. You typically see a lot of catwalk-oriented play coming in from, from ESO Pro League tier teams. They think to themselves, get in quick and get it cleared out. And someone did just ask, how do you enter that raffle? There's a picture of a skin below the stream window if you are watching on twitch.tv. All you have to do is click on that picture, and it will take you to a system that will allow you to enter the giveaway. But that's going to be, oof. Zeusy just looking up. You know, I've been bullied like that once before, but is that getting a double kill? Looking for that triple. Imagine's going to deny that, but he's immediately retapped by ACAP in the head. 3 versus 2, and Immunity, do they want to play for the retake or not? I mean, James, he's got nothing invested into this round worth saving. We do have an AWP on Ricky, however. He is headed back towards terrorist spawn at the moment. Gonna be backpedaling. In my opinion, it seems like at the professional level, Dust 2 feels like the map that is perhaps the least played, especially amongst the Tier 1 teams. Could be because, well, I mean, for the longest time, Fnatic was nearly unstoppable on that map. We're talking about, with Thorn's thoughts on the grand finals of IEM Katowice, for example. He said that Luminosity Gaming, their first map ban, should most definitely be Dust 2 going against Fnatic. But I think the reason why that's relevant is because no team wants to display their strategies on that map, because maybe one team can find something that'll give them some comfort zone or something to nestle themselves into, something to work with if they were to see that team perform on this map, for example. But hey, MVP Karnal's brought it back 3 rounds in a row. Immunity has enough for a full rifle buy round this time around. And we have to ask ourselves, is this the round where they kind of stop the momentum that Karnal has been gaining right now? I mean, is Zadar there kind of caught? No smoke. To be fair, you kind of deserve to be punished at that position, but check out this double kill coming in from Alfnu. I don't know what happened there, as our observer just caught it at the last moment, it felt like. If we had seen the entry, it might have been a little bit more clear cut what is going on. Imagine all alone on bomb site A as he's getting double pushed now. It's 4 versus 2, and this would have to be one of those situations where they could take it, but that is a very low HPT by the name of Zever, finishing what his teammate starts. But that is going to be Kaze getting one, looking for the no-scope, can't quite find it, and he's nearly gets knifed, but Ricky comes in and finishes off with the USP, so it's going to be, at the very least, an expensive win. And MVP Karnal, they gained 2,200 off the back of that. They've got enough for a full buy this round. You can see it. Yeah, that was a little bit weird. I can see your reactions in chat. But Ricky getting really lit off the beginning of that round. You can see this is somewhat, I wouldn't say a full-blown, I wouldn't say like mediocre buy, but it is a little bit lackluster. You can see there are clearly 4 CTs missing helmets. And, I mean, the FAMAS, and adding to that the lack of utility is definitely a big problem coming in for the entire immunity roster. ACAP does meet with Ricky. Bit of an exchange takes place. Why am I getting asked about a European team? I'm not, like, guys, I'm not a European expert. I'm an Asian league expert. Let's put it that way, or Asian team expert. Come on. Like, there's a reason why you don't see me at ESL 1. I'm not Sadikist. All white guys look the same when they're wearing glasses, in my opinion, but come on. Okay, maybe that was a bit of a tasteless remark by me. I do apologize, although I am white. I pick Luminosity Gaming. So troll much wow, but Ricky gonna get the opening frag. James looking for a double, will indeed find it, but he's 19 HP. And Alfnu does light up on the head of his target. Ironically enough, this you know, lackluster buy not working against immunity. Instead, it seems to be the overstepping of bounds by MVP Karnal. In my opinion, I did think that, you know, for the longest time, Sadikist did look a lot like, I'm sorry, Sadikist did look a lot like Anders for a while. I mean, just like, if you stop and think about it for a minute, one looks like an older version of the other. Anders clearly looks like he's in his 30s. I mean, not a bad guy by any means. Do I believe Tyloo is the best of the Asian region? Hell yeah, they're the best of the Asian region. They're the first ones to take down Luminosity Gaming from Asia. We saw, well, I mean, Mongols, of course, under a different roster at the time. IEM Katowice, they couldn't take themselves beyond 6 rounds against any of the teams that they were playing against in the group stage. Not to downplay their skill by any means, but I think maybe, just maybe, their next big international event could be their ticket to fame. Although they didn't, you know, they didn't take the grand finals or even make it to the grand finals of, what is it, the Soul Miner PGL. But that's a lot of low HP CTs, and I think MVP Karnal might have something to work with here. They have to really shut down James and Imagine before they can focus on their bigger targets. But as I say that, there's a bit of reinforcement at CT. And James is actually getting a little bit ballsy here. Could work against him, but that's going to be him actually spraying through the wall to get the frag. What do I make of MVP Karnal? Within the context of Asia, there's certainly a strong team. None, like, for example, if Tyloo were to face off against this team, they would have to show them all the respect in the world, I think. If not, just make all the plays happen. But that's enough about that. We see the dog pile coming into bomb site B, and that is a... Oh my god, Kaze was firing at James just a moment ago. I guess he mistook him for just about to die. Or something like that. Maybe he thought he had killed him, but that's going to be Ricky getting the double kill, avenging his teammate. And that's ACAP shutting things down here at mid. That, did I see that right? Did I see that right? Skyred, match fixing allegations is what happened to them. So I don't think they are here as a team anymore. And this is bad for globalization. It's a common problem in Asia, I know, but it's just absurd, I feel, in so many regards. We at Mixbot are doing our best to fix that. Trust me. Opening frag from ACAP. Nice Juan Deeg. He's looking for the second. He's gonna get it, too. Bomb site B now belongs to MVP Karnal. What is that? Imagine after... a long spray does get 1 frag, but it's back to 3 versus 3. Oh my god, Karnal, he's gotten his 3K. Is he gonna get an ace? It's still on the table as there are 2 CTs left on the map. What remains of immunity, Elfnu and Zusi, they are at mid for the time being. He's waiting for that entry. That anti-entry flash works against him, and Kaze steals it. And it's going to be a 4K coming in from ACAP. All of this off of an eco round. Sick stuff. Sick stuff indeed. MVP Karnal just tips his hat and says, "G'day, mate." Or rather, I'm sorry. ACAP rather there just tips his hat and says, "G'day, mate. Now I got the AWP." Alright, that was a little bit bad. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. So Afnu does get picked through that, through mid double doors. I believe it was ACAP, if not Kaze, who'd gotten the shot. I think there was a weapon swap somewhere in there, but can't say with certainty. So, checking the layout right now on the minimap, we can see that there's clearly... just, whoa, am I looking at this right? How on earth did Zusi get there? How on earth did he get there? Well, I mean, he tried to make some kind of a fancy play happen and didn't quite pan out in his favor. Tagged. Picked means dead. Lol. Okay. It's difficult to put my thoughts into words at sometimes, but 4-man stack just coming out of A-Long. They're met with, I would say, very minimal resistance, to say the least. But on bomb site A, it's going to be Imagine and Ricky alone. And James, well, actually, that's a refrag. Nicely done. But if they're going to go through CT, or through T-spawn, that's going to be a long rotate. See, look at James. He couldn't be in a position that's actually further from bomb site A than it is right now. But it's turning into a solid hold thus far. But as I say that, Zever gets a refrag. So too does Kaze, and now it's 2 versus 2. HP advantage in favor of the CTs. Both of these targets are technically one shot, but so too is technically James 94. As long, I mean, just look at that. The AWP, the AK in hand. That's really all it takes. Tossing a frag onto site would be helpful now, but there aren't any in the hands of those two CTs. Kaze gonna get one, and Zever's gonna have the last laugh as James does trade Kaze. Doto. But it looks like there's some kind of a time out called. Check this out. Didn't say whether it's tactical or technical. Wait, what? Oh, well, that was very brief. Maybe a player had disconnected in the middle of the match and I didn't see, or a player had crashed. Could potentially be the case. It's 1 for 1 thus far. It's going to be a weapon pickup and a drop. And Izzat is struggling to hold his ground here, and he's going to make himself a quad kill. You know, with nothing invested into the round, I mean, we can't deny the fact that this resulted in 0 economic growth for, well, I mean, okay. Basically, the fact that they didn't have to spend anything, Team Immunity made money. But at the same time, MVP Karnal, I'd say they took that to the bank a little bit more than Team Immunity. I mean, just check things out money-wise right now, and it looks like they may be slated to take things into the 8th round if they can just get their hand on this one. That is to say, I think if MVP Karnal win this round, I think they're going to take it to 8 rounds on T side, which is basically where, you know, you want to have it if you've got teams that are basically 100% even in terms of skill, trading, personal skill, and objectives, everything else in between. Play for Catwalk is coming in with the bomb in the hands of Aman. Kaze just popping around the corner, getting ready to pop around the corner with the AWP very shortly. Game sound too low. Do I have a Steam account I can donate to? You mean like skins or something like that, or what? I haven't really thought about that, but maybe I'll set one up soon. But Immunity gonna get their hands on this round, are gonna take Threshold for the first half, and Kaze, oof, just put to sleep. I mean, he might have felt something briefly, but he didn't have enough time to feel the pain of that first hit. That is now gonna be just 5-man stand from Immunity. And so now the question is, can MVP Karnal take the last round of the first half? Just about everyone is at full by par. Kaze may have to drop a rifle for Aman, but that's about it. And that's going to be a Gallo. I think he picked up? No, he purchased. He purchased that. No. Someone dropped it for him so he could buy full utilities. Skins? Alright. Tell you what, during this break, I'll set up a new Steam account. And, wait, am I gonna have to attach an authenticator to it? Can I attach multiple Steam accounts to one authenticator? Oh boy. That is the question indeed. But a big stack onto mid right now coming in from MVP Karnal, and they're getting ready to execute that. Blind firing through metal plates, not getting too much done. Did I see that right? No way. James didn't take damage from that. He couldn't have. Okay. Great. I think I'll do it during the break then. I'll make a new Steam account. Opening frag coming in from Imagine as the rest of the team is dogpiling through a short. They will be met with minimal resistance at this location, but I mean, we have to face the facts here. Ricky is going to provide a formidable op position, but Kaze, he's getting it down with no problems whatsoever. Firing through smoke, no frag. 4 versus 5 now in favor of the CTs, but Kaze brings it back to 4-4 very quickly. He gets it to 4-3. He's looking for his third. Did he get it? I don't think he did. I couldn't see the kill feed. My stuff was blocking it, but Or rather, my microphone was blocking it. I got a condenser microphone, but yeah. Well, that's going to be the first round, or excuse me, the first half. Last round of the first half goes to MVP Karnal, so they're barely below threshold, but there's no way that you can cut it at an even 16-16 rounds during the first half. It always goes 8-7, and that's as close as it gets to a stalemate. So, with that being said, we're going to be seeing Immunity going to the T side, and we're going to wish them the best of luck while they are on that side. Let's see what my Tinder match is saying. Nothing new. Okay. Okay. Wait, am I looking at this right? Like MVP Karnal, they're pushing top high mid. Oh man, they're actually going in for a flank on A long. That's, oh boy, is that their? I mean, if they can pinch this the right way, it'll be good. But oh boy, there they go. Well, it's working. Can't say it didn't. And it looks like they're essentially like that. That was wow. Only losing one guy in the process too. Amon there, if I read that correctly, he didn't take any damage either, so he can actually just spend $350 more to buy a helmet, and it works. Oh boy, let's see here. Immunity is just waiting for that opportunity to rush into bomb site B. I wouldn't say all signs point to it right now, but definitely Izater, he's there. He says, you know, it's getting pretty quiet here at A long. His teammate, you know, Zephyr is there as well. He's essentially thinking the same thing. Long A hut, nothing. Smoke at the end of tunnels. Can't quite see anything inside that if you are on the CT side. But they're just waiting for that smoke to die down and then their entry to be made. Smoke is going to get tossed in from the terrace, as well as a flash, and that, or at least an anti-entry flash. And now, here we go. I have no idea why we're following someone who isn't at bomb site B, but I'm going to try and fix that as best as possible. Imagine and WCA are the last players standing on behalf of their team. It's going to be 2 refrags thus far. All hope rests on Zeusi's shoulders now. As he gets the bomb planted, he will not be denied. But ACAP puts him to sleep very, very quickly. There should be enough for a full buy here coming in from Immunity, like full-blown utilities and everything else in between. Right, so just gonna take the console away to turn up the in-game volume to take it to 0.3. Let's see if that's all right with you guys. And now we're back in game. Tagged Kaze is now for 36 HP. That's all that's left on him. Is that now waiting outside of A long hut? Same thing coming in from Ofnu as well. I don't know, 3-man stuck on bomb site A, it feels a little bit detrimental, because I think definitely if Immunity had vision of what's going on here at A long, they would most likely double back towards bomb site B. I know I would in this position. Like if I, that is to say, if I somehow had vision of this, But right now, at least bomb site A kind of gives the vision of it being free. But there it is. They are now dogpiling into bomb site B. ACAP's been spotted by double barrels, and he's going to get refragged. And now, Karnal, guess what they've got? They've only got 2 guys on the field. Neither of them have extremely valuable weapons. But it looks like James is going to get the spot onto Izat. Interesting. Imagine didn't actually spot Zever at the top of high mid. Waiting for the back pedal. Or the fall back to secondary positions, whatever have you. But he's not leaving. And I can definitely appreciate how Immunity is showing respect to the enemy team right now. They're not going on the chase. So to me that says they're just gonna hang back and try and hang on to their weapons, while not gambling too much, not getting overzealous. MVP Karnal with only a couple of upgraded pistols to accompany their rifles this round. Definitely in the hole is what you could say this round is for them. But Ricky, he's perched up close to that AWP. He's gonna get one and fall back immediately. ACAP didn't have anything too terribly valuable on him or irreplaceable on him to contribute to the fight. Just a P250. But right now, Izat is going to be heading towards mid with the rest of his team. But what does this mean? Are they going to be playing for retake via a short? Or are they just going to succeed this round? And it looks like it's going to be the latter of the two scenarios that I just mentioned. And they're just going to give up the site to these guys. We will see, however, Amon, he's kind of perched up a little bit there at mid. And, I mean, to be fair, he doesn't have anything too extremely valuable on him. If he's able to make any exit frags, that's more power to his team. But it looks like MVP Karnal's going to let this one round go in the hopes that they will be able to make something of a buy next round. You know, you can see it. Three players with armor. And you add... Oh, I'm trying to think here. Maybe... 1,400 plus 1,900. Okay, so looks doable in some ways, but Izat's gonna need a drop, I think. No, I'm sorry, he has a weapon. Okay, so a couple of FAMASs will be accompanying those M4s right now, so a little bit in the way of crossfire potential, but that is a big dog pile going into bomb site A, and a bad time to jump if you are Zever. It's gonna be long A rather. The bots are back. We need the mods! Where are the mods? How many mods are you? StarCraft reference. You probably won't get it unless you guys remember a guy named Root Cats. Guys, Awesome Possum. He is a he's a chillax cat. And I really liked watching his stream back in the day. As is now, it's 5-4 again in favor of the Aussie Alphas. Ricky brings it back to 4-4. He's looking for... Oh my god, the second one with the no-scope. Very nicely done. James is going to go poking through mid. And I'm not sure if ACAP even had a chance to fire a shot there. But it's now 5 versus 1, all on Kaze. Gets one refrag, but is shut down by Ricky. It's just a matter of... really what it was there was just a matter of reflex. Do I watch Destiny too? Everybody had to love Destiny. Wow, buddy! Wait, I get that? Yeah, I got the right guy. Okay, let's go to this guy too. This one too. Rats stay rats! Rats stay rats! Oh, sorry. There we go. It's gonna be Imagine getting the opening frag of the round, and this one looks like it belongs to Immunity. But, I mean, it's a little bit unsurprising given that MVP Karnal only have upgraded pistols to work with, but Ricky coming in here with... Did I see that right? Was that a double no-scope? And one was even a walled. Or walled shot, rather, excuse me. Is that and Kaze at the bottom of lower tunnels. Bottom of tunnels, rather. They're just waiting for someone to come through. Behave, 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 Bob. Please. Derping Peter, don't come back. Oh my god, stop. Just stop, please. I need an army of mods. Everybody needs an army of mods, but here we are. It's all just going to be, looks like 12-9 right now. And I mean, Immunity, they've got a massive bank right now. So MVP Karnal, when you're talking about them winning rounds, you're not talking about them, you know, to get the reset, they don't need just 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Like, by the time they get the economic reset going on Immunity, Immunity's max loss bonus will be so high that they won't need a bank, basically. That's going to be ACAP and Iman. However, making the opening 2 frags of the round, so maybe this is the start of their comeback. 3 versus 3. Bomb planted. So Karnal now have to make a choice. Do they go for the retake, or do they... Yeah, it looks like they're gonna go for it. Unfortunately, imagine he's getting 1, 2... I'm sorry, that's actually Offnu getting a double kill there. Looks like this is getting taken care of quite gradually. We do have a mod in chat. It's either Alopex or King Decoy. Must certainly be one of the two. But here it is now, going to be Karnal opening things up. ACAP getting the opening frag in a very surprising position with the CZ. It feels like, in some ways, almost a little bit predictable. Every time I try to do that, I get shut down. But it's going to be ACAP getting another one before he's sent on a backflip. Or was it vice versa? Sent his target on a backflip. 3 versus 3 once again. Bomb site B nearly belonging to the T's. Zever, he's playing from window with a 5-7. Gonna wait for the sound of that plant to be made. James must be very careful. Pop flash. Is it live or is it fake? That's a very good question. It's live. And that's going to be 1 for 1. James taken down. Izater getting retaken, but it's now all on Zever versus Offnu. And Offnu is on the reload. Taps the bomb. It's going to go back behind that box. And that is going to put 1 on the round here for MVP Karnal. But look at the money here. Like, there it is. This is what I was talking about. Offnu, 16K. It's almost like in some ways, Immunity says, for every round that falls, 10 more will rise to take its place. But I also must mention that MVP Karnal off the back of that win, they got enough money for full buys for everyone. AWPs, M4s, everything else in between, and now a game on our hands. No double op setup coming in from MVP Karnal. So, I mean, if there is a need to bring Kaze to a fight where he's not present, then we're talking about him having to really, really, really step on the gas to get there. There we go. Boy, that is actually going to be Ricky at 1 HP as he gets super lit, but it's actually going to be Iman and Zever opening up with the first frags of the round. Bomb's been planted for immunity. 3 versus 5, however. And now it's 3 versus... Or 5... Well, 5 versus 1. Imagine's got to clutch this. I would love to see it happen, but the odds just are not in his favor as he's in CT spawn. 5-0. And we see MVP Karnal essentially clean sweep this round. It's a bank builder for them. At best, they're going to have to replace their armor and their utilities. And most of that would cost them $2,000 a piece off of the back of a round where they've won 3,250. I'm sorry, 3,500 a piece. So, I mean, if you're a single CT, you're talking about making a profit of $1,500. Losing at most $2,000 a round off the back of that round, rather. And, you know, if there's a way to come back, this is perhaps the beginning of the comeback for MVP Karnal. They can lose this one and still afford a full buy next round. Positioning right now to execute the default, the whatever you want to call it in between. Sorry, did I say if Immunity wants to win this? I meant to say if MVP Karnal wants to win this. This is perhaps the beginning of that comeback. They have a little bit more in the way of slack, both economically and in terms of score. Alright, let's see here. Immunity doesn't have so much in the way of utility. It's 1 for 1 in the exchange. Now James 94 gets 1. Imagine, oh my god. Now it's back to 2 versus 2. Bombs dropped at B, and there's no one on site from CT side to actually get the defuse going here. So, could see MVP Karnal taking a little bit longer to get here for the retake than they want. Giving at least 5 seconds up, but hey. 35 seconds. Wait, Kaze. Oh my god. Well, Offnew's position is still unknown to MVP Karnal. Driving through that. Right now they're taking turns scouting. It looks like very organized in some ways, but it's going to be Zever getting an opening frag. Or rather, the final frag of that round. And now it looks like MVP Karnal, they're doing it. Like, just one round. One round is all it took in a 1v1. And now we can see a huge momentum swing in favor of the counter-terrorists from Malaysia. Anti-stack for bomb site A coming in from MVP Karnal. If we see that Offnew as well as Ricky want to actually pry into A long hut, it could work against them quite heavily. But as I say that, Ricky gets the opening frag, pops back. And now economy off the back of that last round for MVP Karnal actually becomes a very, very, very real concern. Ricky and James just waiting outside of A long hut. I don't think they realize how many CTs there are there. Look at these oh man, the lineup! That could have been disastrous if they had just, you know, gone forward with the chase. Throw a smoke to cover themselves on the exit. It looks like they're going to go directly for catwalk. They're like, hey, wait a minute, there's 2 at A long. So who's watching A short? And typically in this kind of setup, you would expect there to be 2 CTs on bomb site B, and that's in fact what I think just happened. Amon and ACAP, or Kaze? ACAP, they rotated in from bomb site B, so they're actually on CT. Amon going to get 1 refrag, and it's now 4 versus 4. All they have to do is hold on to that bomb, and that is going to be some bunny hop, some attempted bunny hop by Amon. Izater is going to get a refrag, and the trades, they're everything, and that is going to be MVP Karnal taking what on earth but miracle plays. 4 rounds in a row, I think, as they bring it to 13-13. It's like I said, you know, I mean, we saw Zusi at what, 16K just a few moments ago? Or not a few moments ago, but rather a few rounds ago. And I believe I also mentioned to you all that once MVP Karnal fully reset the terrorist economy, it'll actually be at a point where their max loss bonus is just, how do I say this, completely massive, out of control. If I'm not mistaken, if we were to see immunity lose this round with a bomb plant, then they would gain 4,200 off the back of that round. Let's move this microphone to the side a little bit more. That way I can check the kill feed a little bit more cleanly. My left eye can see my monitor, but my right eye can't. Okay, so our Malaysian Masters have managed to put themselves at 13 rounds to 13 of immunity. And I am going to shamelessly take a vape of my e-cig, because I do so dearly need nicotine in a less harmful format. Strawberry Rice Krispie treat. I do apologize. I didn't mean to fool anyone into thinking that their home had a gas leak. It's a gas leak. It's just that I really, come on. It's healthier than a cigarette, right? What's wrong with vaping? I don't get it. All right. So they've had a chance to just ooze faba a little bit. And in case you guys don't know what that means, that's an anger management reference. That was a movie with Adam Sandler that I saw when I was 14. God, that was 13 years ago. That was half my life ago. But Zusi makes the opening frag of the round, stays calm, pops that corner, takes the headshot. And with that being said, there's no AWP on these guys. But wait, imagine! Whoa. That brings us to 5-3 now, and with a clean headshot onto one of the players, I mean, there's a very small window of opportunity where you're checking corners, but it looks like Zever's coming in for a flank, and he's going to be going for a very long rotate that could potentially catch Imagine, a very uncomfortable position. He's actually about to get sandwiched if he doesn't push forward. If he's not careful, he could actually end up having that, but no, it looks like Zever thinks better of the situation and decides to push mid. There they go. That was a very quick time to get on top of box. He gets away with one frag. He gets two. He's now blind as he switches to his UPS, and that is going to be now 2 versus 2, but back to 2 versus 1 as Desatre does take down Zusi. It's now all on Ricky. They had a 5 versus 3 going for them at one point, but now he's got to make some magic happen. He's got 30 seconds to work with. He makes one frag. He's immediately going to reload and just haul ass towards bomb site A, or is he? Oh my god. This isn't CT spawn Xbox. This is A short Xbox. He's running A short, and that's Zever who was able to hear him. 10 seconds remain, and not a second to spare, and Zever's just going to continue walking towards bomb site A. He says, I've got plenty of time to work with, and my spot is not revealed. And a jump. Catches him, and Ricky puts the 14th round on the board for immunity. USPS, wait, USPS? UPS? Silence pistol, good god, whatever you want to call it. Like this thingamajigger right here, you see? You see it? Yeah, that. Let me clear this, okay. That thingamajig. Whew! Looks like default once again for immunity. And MVP Karnal off the back of that tactical timeout and thus the round that it costed them has said to themselves, okay guys, just, you know, don't overextend at catwalk again. Don't push where you don't need to push. Just stay on our side of every entrance and make them come to us. And this is typically, how do I say this, the most intense of, what's the word I'm looking for? Typically, it's the most intense of Dust 2 matches. There we go. But Ricky lit for 93 or 97 HP. He's now at only 3. Kaze at 44 himself. Dogpile coming in through A short. However, Pop Flash coming in, and is after having a little bit of difficulty finding multiple targets. He does trade himself nonetheless. It's now 4-3, was in favor of immunity. Now it's 3-2, again in favor of immunity, even if only by 3 HP. And 1 barely operational AWP player. Bomb has been planted, and MVP Karnal, you know, they can't get to that bomb site on time, and it looks like they're just going to save and look for exit frags. There we go, match point for immunity. If MVP Karnal want to take this to overtime, they're going to have to win 2 rounds in a row, and this is not going to be phenomenal by any means. You can see ACAP has just skipped armor. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that was a drop a teammate made for him. But it's gonna be 3 FAMASes and an M4 accompanying that 1 AWP coming from the CT side. Tagged is ACAP already as he jumps through that metal panel. QQ Penguin, yes, that's right. I play with QQ. A white guy who plays with QQ. Doesn't exist, right? Must be fake. Must be. You know what? I bet the Chinese government sent this guy to cast our games. Yeah. It was a joke. It was a joke, guys. It was a joke. Really, it was. Zever, he's waiting on the other side of that hut, and it looks like, oh boy, he sees the shadow. Pre-fires just a little bit. Was gonna get 1. Slated to make 2, but he's immediately refragged. And that is going to be MVP Karnal at a man advantage. Not quite entirely guaranteed to be a firepower advantage. Cast in Chinese this round? Nah, I'd rather not. People will just turn off the stream. This is the English stream. This is why they come here. Can be seeing now team immunity continuing to trek forward on this, but they are going to have to trek forward very carefully. Kaze is already looking at a short entrance, and that could actually just shut down any play for that. But as I say that, he gets caught at the wrong time. Just throwing a utility out towards A long, and that's going to be him shut down. From a 3 versus 4 back to 3 versus 2. It's not over yet. We're going to be seeing Karnal. God, GoTV typically dies whenever this happens, but I'll explain in a minute. 1 versus 2 now, as Amon does have his FAMAS in hand, looking for a headshot to connect something with. Lol. I love the humor of this chat. Connecting a few bullets, but that, just using the weapon as bait, very nicely done by Ricky, and that is going to be 16-13 for MVP Karnal. We would like to congratulate them for this victory. Right, so something that I forgot to explain was the auto director